What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Coming in a little late. Okay, coming in a little late. All right, so you guys, today's show is Trump supporters aren't going anywhere. And many of you, I'm looking at this from a business perspective. I'm looking at this from a marketing perspective. I'm looking at it from a behavior perspective because I know a lot of you are like, Orange Man bad, Erica. Good. So what we have right now is 74 million people, and then some, 74 million people who went out, who voted, who put their heart, their soul in it, who are behind an ideal, behind a man. And let me be very clear. People are like, Erica, it's their platform. They can do what they want. And everybody who is anybody, let's be very clear, anybody in business in the past 6 years knows Twitter was going on the decline. Twitter was going down to poo-poo, okay? It was going downhill. Instagram, other platforms were taking a lot of that market share. Facebook, more people were using Facebook in that way. And all of a sudden, on the rise of Trump, that signed up a ton of people to Twitter, to that platform, to understand news, right? Because when I would talk to people about Twitter 7, 8 years ago, oh, Twitter, I ain't doing that. I don't get it. Because a lot of people were sharing news. News reporters were using Twitter. Your blog, when you posted a blog post, it was attached to Twitter, right? It would put something out. Even for a while, I literally was like, what's going on? Twitter? Oh, I have an account there, but I don't really use it. And so I started just using it, just throwing something up against the wall. And then I would look over there, here and there, and would hear this Black Twitter clapback. Well, why did you have Black Twitter? Black Twitter was a clapback to the media articles and the media conversations that were being put on Twitter, and they were not representative of the whole or the collective of America. So hence Black Twitter, right? So Black Twitter would come and say, no, that article is not right. This is what's right. Or Black Twitter would talk about Black topics. And so you would laugh because you'd hear this statement, from a Candace Owens and a Brand Tatum. Listen, you hear the medium tell you, oh, we all love Harris. And then Black Twitter would literally start, no, that's not the sentiment going on with the rest of Black America. You're misquoting us. And so I just want to say that about Twitter because a lot of people think Twitter don't need him. They do need him. Twitter's 80 million people that signed up during the Trump administration came from Trump, right? So this isn't to try to play this devil's advocate that, oh, Twitter and these businesses, these platforms don't need Trump. That's crazy. Okay. So first things first, we've talked about this. Trump is no different than, and let me be careful here, on the level of following than a Ron Paul, than a Bernie Sanders, if you guys can go back, I think a few years back before that, the Texas oil man with the big ears that ran against Bush. Every single one of those people, when they ran, there was a litany of grassroots support. So much so that Bernie Sanders at the Hillary Clinton supposed DNC nomination, they literally had to turn on noisemakers above the crowd because so many people were there. Bernie Sanders had 30,000 people in stadiums before Trump, and the media ignored it. See, he didn't utilize the media to his advantage, Bernie Sanders and his staff, the way that Trump has. So many people are like, well, Erica, you're being Republican, you're being conservative. No, I'm being a very smart businesswoman. If you have people who can turn off a Farrakhan, a Alex Jones, a Trump off the internet, and everybody goes, good, Orange Man bad. Yeah, Orange Man bad. Erica, don't you see Orange Man bad? And you sit there and go, you don't even know what you're talking about. These are platforms, these are private businesses. Facebook and all these people are fighting Section 230 in our Congress right now because they know the power of, if they were truly labeled publishers, they would have to let everybody on. All right? But because they don't want the label of publishers, they want to skirt the law. They want to say, listen, we're a platform. We sell ads. It's different. We're not a publisher. They can skirt the law and censor whoever they want. But I want you to understand, to this day, if you go ask some people who you think if you think OJ Simpson's guilty, you still got those people die hard to this day. OJ Simpson killed those people, right? That's the same. This is going to be the same level of what you're going to experience for the next 4 years of people who you told that they're crazy, they're deranged, they're an idiot, they're stupid, their ideals don't make sense. You're going to deal with those people for 4 years and then some. So let me kind of break it down where I'm going with this. And I want you to understand, when Ron Paul was out talking about sound fiscal government, it was such a threat that they would shut down Ron Paul's websites. They would shut Ron Paul off interviews. They would shut Ron Paul's newsletters off, right? They were like, I don't know if you should be mailing that, Ron. Okay. Now people are going to say, Erica, I don't remember that. That's right. Because a lot of you are new to politics, right? I've been doing this for years. And also I've been paying attention to the side of the conversation that says, hey, we can't just spin into an infinity. We can't just go crazy with this. And Ron Paul was an ideal. You can kill a man. You cannot kill an ideal, right? The reason Cuba is such this big boogeyman to this day, instead of some little tropical island like Cancun that we go send kids on spring break to, is because we built up the ideal. We got rid of the man, but we built up the ideal. When you ban things, you make them bigger. When you try to restrict things, you grow the attraction to them. There are 2 books I was trying to write. 2 books I was trying to write so bad. And I couldn't get the ghostwriter I want to write them, so I didn't want to write them. You know, everybody was making fun of conservatism, as they were saying at the time about 3 years ago. And so I didn't write the books. I still have the outlet, still have the outline. I've got 80 pages of stuff put together for the person who's going to write it. But at the time I was saying women are going to go going home. It is going to be a return to conservatism. It's going to be this conservatism is like a cultural fad thing, right? I definitely don't have an OnlyFans. I promise you that. Conservatism is going to be this rebel thing, right? Republicanism, the Ron Paul style of that era before the neocons, okay? And neocons are just people that are kind of hanging into the cool kids thing, right? Before the neocons, and you can look that up. There's a whole history there. Before the culture wars, right? What were the culture wars? It was the pushback on the hip hop's 90s. Everything in the 90s was so cool. But we on conservatism was like, no, sound money, families, intact families, people living over here in the suburbs, the yuppies, that's cool. That's the culture wars. And again, culture wars, you can go back to Al Gore's wife fighting 2 short albums. You can do all that for the culture wars. You can go back years and look up lots of documentation about the culture wars. Now, what's going to return, not because women deserve it, not because men are the prize and women ought to kiss their butt. No, it's coming because economically it's coming. It's economically coming because it was predicted 30 years ago. And those of us who are sitting here just reading and going, oh my God, these women are going home. I don't know if you saw it in December, but 140,000 people lost their jobs. All 140,000 of them were women. Now, one people are going to be like, girl, oh my God, feminism. No. I'm going to tell you, what are those women going to do? They're going to go move home with their parents. They're going to go lose weight and watch all these feminine channels and dress nice and do what? Get married. I have several people I know right now who are not the most good looking guys I know, but they have jobs. They work at one of our shops. They all have girlfriends out of nowhere. All of a sudden, December, they all got girlfriends. They're like, yeah, pretty lucky. I got a girlfriend. She met her at the store with her kid. I'm like, you know what? Congrats to you, sir. Congrats to you. Because that woman saw you. You didn't see her. That woman saw you. Okay? And I want you to understand that's what's going to happen here. And it's 217 of y'all in here, hit the like button. What's going to happen is economically, I need you. So economically, we're going to partner together, whether that is a bunch of people in a house, you're talking about grandma, grandpa, all these different things, or you're going to talk about people kind of turning conservative and go back to tradition because it makes sense, right? So again, even here in this space, when I keep telling y'all I go to a particular type of church, several of these divorced women all of a sudden were pushing up on these very nerdy guys that regular single women were like, girl, he's weird. He's kind of nerdy, girl. But that divorced woman said, you know what I can do? I can clean him up. I can put him on some different clothes. I can make him a little more social. He's an engineer. He's got a good job. I'm gonna work with it. And they did. And people think that's a joke, but I've seen that real life. And you go, well, a single guy who's an engineer making money would never take a single loan. This is not true. You guys are really overestimating the fact of people being liked, people being appreciated, and people being in close space to other people, proximity. Okay? Now, with that being said, you go, Erica, what's that got to do with Trump? It's an ideal. It's not just the man, it's the ideal that things are. If you go back and watch him on the campaign trail when he originally started running, hey, there's 20% unemployment. There's a shadow unemployment, right? There is a lot of people who are suffering. There's a lot of American men who are suffering, right? He's going on this kind of like men are suffering tour. If you go back and watch his early stuff, right? And that was what pulled people in because, yeah, that's true. Where I'm from, this, or where I'm from, that, right? These small towns that were dying slow deaths because, one, nobody wants to move, and two, nobody wanted to get new skills. They want to stay in the same jobs they've always had, and that right there. Now, with that being said, people are saying, Erica, these are these people's platforms. They can do what they want. I'm going to show you this. Go ahead and show you this. And you tell me as I share this. Not this one. Let's do this one.
The tires and the paint cost, they put it on.
Let's see if I can do that. Okay, I think y'all should be able to see this. It's a joke. It's a funny. He can't go on Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, Spotify. Look at that Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Pinterest, Google, Twitter, Facebook, Shopify, Reddit. Think about that. I really want you to understand what's happening. And people go, oh, Erica, it doesn't matter. It's funny. It's hilarious. It wasn't funny when they took off Farrakhan. It wasn't funny when they took off some of the other people. But this is funny. And I'm laughing because people are saying, it's their platform. How dare you walk into their business and holler in the middle of the street? You can't do that. You don't understand. This is their business. This is a multi-platform effect. Now, this is where you don't understand that some of these other platforms, some of the Facebooks owns Instagram. And Instagram, I think, they didn't buy Snapchat yet, I don't think, did they? Some of these other platforms own each other. What is Spotify? Spotify is what? Spotify is one of the number 2, I think, after Pandora, podcasts in the world. Why does that matter? Because it's not radio. And right now, podcasting is taking the place of some of that radio. So I just wanted to show you some of those platforms that we think it's so funny he's not allowed on. And many people say, well, Erica, it's just people like you who are using social media to build your business. No, correction. I told you for the past 2 years, it's why I have other businesses I built offline. That's why I would do events in multiple cities, Denver, Dallas, New York, Los Angeles. And we'll do it again. I will have to do it again. Not because I'm like, oh, you can just do all this stuff online. Yeah, you can run ads online. But nothing's better than being in front of people, I promise you. It's a whole nother level. And a lot of these people that you see that are in conservative circles that maybe you think are going over the top. Prime example, I use Glenn Beck. People were like, man, Fox News, get this guy off of here, man. He's crazy. He's getting them millions of dollars, the most money they've ever had in their whole day. And they're like, get him out of here. Just get another personality in his place. He's too powerful. That man went off to get off that channel, wrote probably 20 books, built a whole studio, built a whole platform, has a platform on XM radio and TV, right? Hold on. That's a great show, but it's only good if you're going to watch season 1 from the beginning. Okay, sorry. People be wanting to do the most. Okay, so what you have to understand is when it comes to these platforms, people are saying you're on someone's backyard. And I've talked about that. And the reason I refuse to build so many live videos on Facebook is because I saw it as useless 4 years ago. And I keep telling people to this day, Facebook is useless when it came to the fight with YouTube. And I continue to pursue here on YouTube. And the reason why I kept talking about it is because I saw what ended up happening 2 years later. All these Facebook people started messaging me, hey, can you help me get my YouTube fixed? Can you help me do this? Oh, for sure. Because I knew what I was talking about then. And I know what I'm talking about now. Platforms that make you searchable. And a lot of people are going to say, Erica, all these people can take you off any of these platforms. It doesn't matter about Facebook. It does. Because Facebook was the first to start doing it. YouTube is the second. We have 275 people here. I have 42,000 people subscribed. If YouTube just showed me to my own subscribers, we wouldn't have any problems, correct? But even it is censoring, right? Even it is controlling the computer algorithm of who it notifies. At minimum, 10% of your audience, 400 people, should be notified that I'm on, right? So again, these platforms can do whatever they like. That's why you have to build email lists. That's why you, again, if you don't have an email list, you don't have a business. If they take you off this tomorrow, what happens to you? A lot of people are building businesses here and saying, you're silencing me on the internet. Well, no, what they're really saying is, I don't want to do the crazy legwork. Now, let me be very clear. A couple years ago, Facebook came out here for South by Southwest. And essentially, we had a room full of business owners, maybe 500 people. They looked at us and they said, hey, we've all reached out to you guys because you have Facebook pages for your business. That's why you're in this room. And everybody's like, yes, yes. Well, we just want to be very clear that it's as nice as they could say it, you about to pay for play. And people kind of looked like, what? I get lots of reach on my page. What do you mean? They had 3 business owners on the stage stand up and say, yeah, I use $20, a week marketing ads on my Facebook so that traffic goes to my business. And everybody's sitting in the audience looking at each other. Huh, that's interesting. Like, what? This was their introduction to telling you, this is already planned. This is already going to happen. What are you talking about? We're going to make you pay for this space you're using. And that was almost 5 years ago at South by Southwest, in a room full of people who had Facebook business pages and were business owners. Trust me. That was what they were telling you. They were letting you know in your face. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, if you're going to be on their platform, you should spend money. Prime example, Grant Cardone spends plenty of money on all the platforms, as we can tell. And he started being reduced in reach to Facebook. And noted that day, hey, we will take off everything off of Facebook starting on Friday if our reach doesn't improve this Monday. They got 5 days to fix our reach on this platform, or we will take everything off. We will stop spending any ad dollars on this platform. By Wednesday, I started seeing Grant Cardone pop up in my feed like 4 or 5 times. And I said, because there's a power in how much you're spending on these platforms. Again, it depends. Grant Cardone, big user of it. And then once he complained, hey, we're going to shut down everything off Facebook. We will no longer use this platform in any capacity. We will not spend any money here. Right? Right? And then all of a sudden it changed. They could hear your arguments. They can hear you complaining about these platforms. They can hear it. They know it. They know what they're doing, and they don't care. So people say, well, Erica, what if I spend money? What if I spend money? So prime example, there's a guy who owns multiple businesses. He just spent $46 million. Let me see if I can find him. $46 million on Facebook over the years. Spent $46 million in ads on Facebook. First thing I would say is he spent this money from 2006 to 2020. Let me see if I can share the screen here.
Why do you worry about yourself?
And I'm gonna just say this, and no shade, Dr. Boyce Watkins spent $500,000 on Facebook. And to this day, I said that was a waste of money. He could have spent $500,000 on YouTube ads and been the next Ty Lopez. Point blank, period. It was a waste of money. And that probably is part of why you don't see me on certain places, because people don't like it when I tell them the truth. So again, small business owners spent $46 million on Facebook advertising from 2006 to 2020. He's been booted from the platform with no explanation this January. His name is on the site called Shared. You can go to it. They said, due to safety and scrutiny, we didn't do anything wrong. I'm confident in that. Now, why is he saying that? Oh, and as you see, Skynet doesn't like it when I talk about it. Right? So Shared, you can go here. Shared, the reason Shared is kicked off is because Shared is, to me, a kind of time waster. It's a rabbit hole, like Facebook. You're going to go into this thing and be in a rabbit hole, right? So kick that off, close that off. And And you can read more about that on your own time. But essentially, this rap from 2006 to 2020 spent $46 million and was kicked off platform. So think about it. They're spending $46 million. They're paying into the business. And many people say, well, Erica, you're on people's platforms and you're not paying the business. This is incorrect. Starting this year, we went organic for 5 years now. We are paying for ads since November 2019. No, 2020. November. We're spending ad spend on almost every platform. And here's the thing Jason Black said that cracked me up, but it's true. You cannot ban a billboard. You can't ban radio. These are things that you think are boring, but they're not. And just if you do the math on if 74 million people gave this man $1, just a freaking dollar, you're talking about $74 million. That's a powerhouse. It's a powerhouse. If you look at the money that was raised after the election through email, crazy numbers. And I just had to bring that up because, again, Twitter was revived with Trump and yet is ticking this man off. There's a lot that I can say. I'm trying to be nice. Now, you're going to say, Erica, what's the thing that people can do? What can they do? You have to go back and look at national speakers for the true answer. Right now, if you think of Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, several of the old school speakers that were everywhere in the 80s and the 90s and at every MLM speaking event and everywhere they could go, right? National speakers like Les Brown hit the road and were on radio. That's it. They were on radio. They were hitting the road. They had infomercials at night. Go and see infomercials. Listen, the reason the dude who wrote the Natural Cures book is in jail right now, I think, is because at the time he was selling he had infomercials going in the middle of the night, talking about, hey, if you just pay $100 to that bill, that company can't foreclose on you. And millions of people were doing it. So again, we literally can talk every day, night and day, about things being a private company. That does not matter. It is a platform. It is a platform that is used. And if platforms can close out on a president of the United States, it's no different. Again, people are like, these are private businesses, Erica. You can't go in somebody's private business and act this way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These companies have been doing dirty tricks for 4 or 5 years. They rode the coattails of this man coming along. The news organizations were failing. MSNBC failing. NBC failing. But yet they had something to talk about to bring traffic to them. Right? So again, what's going to happen to a lot of these people that you see? And I'm saying this not with the joy in my eyes, but I'm going to talk about it in the fact as a real business person. A real business person knows at some point for your business to grow, you're going to have to spend money, add staff. A lot of the people you see on the internet right now who are conservatives, Officer Tatum, some of these people saying yes, Kevin Trudeau was his name. Thank you. Kevin Trudeau. A lot of these people that are saying that they're doing business, they're doing all these numbers, they're going to have to start spending money. Point blank, period. I know people right now with 100,000 followers on Instagram, and they can't get more than 200 people to see their post. So they're spending $3,000 to $4,000 a month on Instagram to make $30,000 to $50,000 a month. Now you may say, well, shit, that's a good deal. You spend 3 to 4, you get 30 to 40. In the year, you make 400,000 plus. Then this is true, but you always got to spend it. You always got to keep tweaking the ad. You can do it. You use it how you want. You be a marketer. You be a direct person. But that's the game you have to play. You're either going to have to go national, hit the road, use radio. Rush Limbaugh to this day. There's a bunch of mini Rush Limbaughs, but they don't have the radio talent that this man had. They don't have the advertisers backing what this man has. And what they're going to learn is they're not going to just be able to be at home buying a bunch of Range Rovers and stunting on Instagram. They're going to have to actually put together real businesses and have real newsletters that go to people's house, like Ron Paul days. Now, why is this so crazy? Because when you hear me say newsletters, you're like, Erica, newsletters? Yes, it was a big thing in the 80s and 1990s, newsletters. What also was a big thing that happened out of the 80s from the newsletters? The Wacos, the breaking up compounds, the breaking up of radical groups thinking. It's hard to say people are a group of radicals when it's 74 million Americans. That's hard to say, oh, these all people are radical. 74 million Americans? They're all radical? And again, people are like, oh, these people are racist. A lot of these people married to black women, married to Asian women. They're all racist. Now you may say, Erica, in their mindset and their thoughts, they think crazy thoughts. Okay. They still have mixed children. And we know, and we can go in a whole deep psychological conversation about how I've had people who have white dads and an Asian mom, and the dad says racist things all the time, makes the kid confused. We could talk about that, but that's another day. I'm just going to say, as a business person, you're going to have to really be a business person now. You're not going to be able to just come on Facebook or Instagram. And the same thing happened a couple years ago on YouTube. When you were in fitness, people just used to come on in YouTube, and they used to lift weights in front of the mirror and put their butt towards the camera, and they'd be like, oh, they're a fitness person. Look how fit they are. Yeah. And they became it was an over surplus of that. Over surplus of good looking people just showing up on YouTube. They didn't know how to run a business. Many of them would go get in couple relationships or fake couples, or many of them would go be sponsors for drinks, energy drinks. And only the people now, 5-6 years later, after fitness kind of took a, jumped over the shark on YouTube, that the people that survived were people who made supplement companies. People who survived made t-shirt companies, made fitness clothing companies, made something niche, right? Chalks for the hand, something to do with their feet, right? That's the only people that truly survived YouTube. People that actually grew a real business. So every one of those people out here with the butt poked out on YouTube and calling themselves a fitness expert, where are they now? You'll see them 4 or 5 years later. If they didn't start selling cookbooks, if they didn't start becoming an actual business person, they disappeared. They went away. And this is what you're going to see with a lot of conservatives, right? The conservative party is going to be the party of the rebel. It's going to be the party that gets the state, gets the local election, and never gets the House again. The demographics of this country are too strong in the wrong way. And I'm being careful with this. But right now, 50% of all American children have one person in the house who's on some type of assistance, either food stamps, Social Security, some type of government aid. 50% of all American children. People are growing up now with the hand-holding in their head that the government's supposed to send us something every month. If they don't send it, it's their fault. I can tell you the sob stories I've heard from so many truckers like, yeah, I lost my job and da-da-da-da. Sir, we're short 300,000 truckers. You don't want a job. It's not that you can't get one. You don't want it. You have a skill that is short 300,000. That's like a doctor saying, nobody wants me to be a doctor. Nobody wants it. That's untrue. So when it comes to people going into fields where we have plenty of them, we're going to have to do what? Have to be true business people. And it's going to have to show. So this is something I just really was bothered by, how so many people are like, yes, he's off, girl. Yes, look at him, girl. They took him off of there. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You're a true idiot, because you cannot think, you cannot think this does not ripple down to multiple people, a little bit of everybody. And so if you're a person, prime example, someone was asking me, hey, how will I get more of my business out? I was saying, well, I have all these trucks and I'm going to buy these trailers this year for my company. Oh, I'm just going to wrap my trailers with whatever I want to say on the outside of the trailers. These trailers will go all down in the United States, up and down major highways. I will get my word out. I will buy billboards. I will get my word out. I will keep increasing on radio. I will get my word out, right? Because at the end of the day, all these companies, they do need your money. That's just what it is. They're going to need your money. So it's easy, and there's a book called Rage Inc. It's easy to be angry on the internet and incite people to anger. There have been a lot of people's careers who've been built off that. Right now, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, he came to the town hall and almost, not really, he didn't cuss at him, went off and said, hey, the good guys like us, we're going to have to follow the law and we'll come turn our guns in. But what about our protection? Are you going to come protect us? Of course, he said about something more complicated and delicate than what I'm saying. And it went viral. And now he's the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He's one step from being the governor of the state from a viral video. So do not ever think video isn't powerful. And these people having access to the internet isn't powerful. It's extremely powerful. So much so that, again, for the next 5 to 10 years, the Republican Party will be the party of the rebel. It'll be the party of this, they're trying to get everybody back to conservatism. But that was already happening because economics was demanding it. Economically, these women who all 140,000 lost their job in December, I assure you this January, they're very nice at their house. They're very nice to whoever's at that house paying the bills full time. very nice. They're nice to their parents who they've moved in with. They're nice to their adult kids if they live there and have jobs. If not, they're doing what? Filing for disability, filing for unemployment. Economics is going to curtail people's behavior, right? You know, we saw the Hallmark movies where someone moves to a small town and starts over. That was real life, okay? The first wave of people are the people in their cars right now, thinking they have no choice and they have no money, but they could have money and leave. It's mindset. Number two are the people who are voluntarily going to my small home. I'm going to my RV of my own will. I've chosen this RV. It's a little bit of money I have or a credit card. Number three are people who are moving out to the country. Like, I'm gonna move way out. I'm gonna move to, imagine selling all that you have and moving to the middle of Wisconsin or the middle of Michigan or the middle of Oklahoma or the middle of Texas where you don't know nobody. That's how economically extreme that can be. Number four is the people like, I'm gonna sell everything I have in California and New York and I'm gonna go to Texas. I'm gonna go to Florida. So I can at least maintain some level of upper middle class living, right? Some middle class living and restart my life in the way I choose, right? Because that's what's popular, Texas and Florida, right? Restarting. And then that fifth and sixth wave are people who are going to do what? They're continuing to leave their lives. They're going to change jobs, change careers, but their situation is not going to change, right? So when you watch this thing and you think, oh, this is sillier because these people just need to get over it. No, I can tell you right now with all certainty, I'm certain, not as many as were at the time, but if you were someone who, or way older than me, was at a workplace when O.J. Simpson won, you know, or didn't get convicted, you saw how your coworkers acted. You saw how people acted, right? When I talk about there's $30 trillion wealth transfer happening over the next 8 years, and 30% of it is going to family offices. What do you think is going to start happening at these family offices? Right? Where everybody in there's family. Well, if a recession comes, we're going to make sure we hire more family. Everybody that's inside this building is going to be family. There may be one or two girls who are not family, who have a job in the office, doing some phone work. But if push comes to shove, we'll go ahead and put you out too. Right? This whole office will be just family. That's why they're called family offices. Even generationally, you'll go to lawyer offices or some kind of family that owns a AC company or some type of company, second generation. Majority of the people working there are family. Yes, they have other people because they need other people to do the work. That's just the truth of it. But these family offices will dominate. And this is why when people sit here and go, yeah, ain't nobody get married, ain't nobody doing this, your time is not on your side. Time is not on your side. What you're saying is inaccurate. The things you're hearing people complain about, they're Gen Xers. And there's nothing wrong with being 40 to 59 years old, but it's a cry from a group of people who are miserable. Studies show that group is not happy. That group is not happy. They do all kinds of surveys, doctors to men, doctors to women. That group is not happy. Usually that group has teenagers. Usually that group realizes, man, I'm on the backside of life. I've got maybe 30, maybe 20 years. I got to finish figuring this stuff out. I have to make it better. And so you're having a bunch of people, right? You're having a bunch of people who are like, oh, I see things not going my way, right? So these things are economic in nature. Economics will make you bend culturally. Get my drift, okay? And some of these people are going to have to bend, right? So again, a lot of the marketers you see out here, and that's what they are. The Brandon Tatums, all these social media personalities, these people are marketers. And what's going to happen is instead of making 90% profit off of your online products, your online courses, your online presence, it's going to be closer to 40, 50, 60. Because at some point, you're going to have to try to start marketing that business and spending money. And also doing a lot more in-person talk. That's just all it's going to be. You're going to have to start doing that. So look, put your questions in here if they're about business. If they're not about business, I'm not gonna read them. I'm just gonna make that very clear that like this ideology that it's okay that this man is banished off all these websites, it won't matter. He will start another platform. The way they're getting rid of Parler, you can't even use the app on your phone. What's gonna happen is people are gonna have to go back to old school. What's old school? Old school is newsletters, right? Letters in the mail, the snail mail. What's the old ways? It's going city to city, state to state. This is why this is so unbelievable for this election to went this way. This guy's going, and people are like, oh, Erica, he's only going to rural places. This isn't true. You had a whole set of people in Los Angeles, a major city, hundreds of thousands of people protesting. New York, you have these people showing up in these major cities, and so you're trying to tell me that this ideal is not real. This ideal is real, and it will not go anywhere. You will have 4 years of festering. That's what you're going to have. And I get it. You don't want to look at it. You're like, these people are crazy. Again, I'm driving around Austin, and there's still banners up for Trump pins, and they'll be up. They'll be up for years. They'll be up for a year or two. I promise you. These people, again, you cannot counsel someone who has a following. You can take them off all these platforms, and all you did is boast and empower. What happened when they took Farrakhan down? Hundreds of Farrakhan's. Brother Ben X is one of the most notable, and YouTube keeps taking him down, and he keeps coming back up. Brother Ben X, a lot of these people, all they did was disseminate the word. They're like, okay, well, you say I can't have his whole speech up there? I can have snippets. Oh, you say I can't do this? I'm going to have more snippets. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to cut it and put a snippet, or I'm going to reinterpret what he said. Do you understand what's happening? Sure. You want to convince me that a man in his basement who had no more than 8 people show up at the rallies, and a woman that no one liked on her first run because she was a token minority is the winner? Sure. You're going to have unrest in that thought long term for 4 years. Just to this day, if I ask somebody about George Bush and Al Gore, they are dead hot heat. He stole it. Florida, he stole it. To this day. So you can look Democrat people in the eyes, and they will tell you that, oh yeah, Bush stole that first one from Al Gore. Yeah, he stole that. And they'll tell you, oh, that was weird. That was weird how he won. Yeah. And then you have the same people tell you and turn around, there's nothing weird going on right now. It's absolutely fine, Erica. How dare you question it? Nothing, not a thing went wrong. It's perfectly normal. And if you actually go look back at the courts, they're like, oh, the courts threw it out, Erica. You actually go back and read the courts. They're saying they threw it out for that particular reason. You have to come back with another reason, or you have to delay or explain. Yeah, you have affidavits of people saying that something went wrong. Hundreds of people signing affidavits, but who cares? Who cares about that affidavit, right? And this is why this will continue, all right? This is why this will continue. So, yes, you have people on the internet complaining because they scared their necks. They're scared they'll be banned off these platforms. But that's when you have to talk to people and tell them, remember, you have to have your own email list. Remember, you have to have your own business. Even now, I'm working with a kind of a storage company because all these videos, I have over 2,000 videos on YouTube. If they take those all the way tomorrow, then they're just gone, right? So Brother Ben X, a couple of people were saying how they stored, use it as storage. They use it as a way to collect their videos, and they took all his high school videos away. They took his videos that he had unlisted and private away. This is possible. Any day this can happen. You have to actually build a real business, and you actually have to have a business where you interact with people, you market to people. And even if that means, hey, all these books you had, now you got to do a late night infomercial to sell them. That may be what some of these people will have to do, right? Because they can keep selling to their audience. But at some point, it's called the crossover effect. At some point, you have to cross over to a bigger audience and convert people into your volume, right? To do that. So, anyway, I'm going to go and read some of you guys' comments. It's been 38 minutes. But I definitely want you to understand, like, I love putting that up about Kevin Trudeau because I think he hit that nerve right before online became online. And I show you guys Ray Higdon all the time is because same 4 to 5 products he's been selling for years and coaching and multimillionaire, right? If you invest in the business, and he's on Inc. 5000, so this isn't some ranking business. If you invest in the business, you invest in ads, you'll still have that space. So all you did is move a man and make it more important and give it teeth and bones to an audience that's going to be like for the next 4 years festering on this, just to kind of be on this. Okay. And again, you guys have all kind of sarcastic comments in there. I don't care. I'm not going to read them. I'm going to get on over because, again. Yeah. I mean, and Kingston James, he said, now what if another social media platform welcomed Trump? Now you have a huge customer base off that alone. So here's the thing. That will happen, but this is the same thing as it'll be poaching, right? How Joe Rogan was poached from Apple to Spotify and gave $100 million. Well, how many people do you think joined Spotify off that, right? Even though Joe Button, who was doing like a 30-day campaign against Spotify, and rightfully so, because Spotify is doing what WB did and CW did right before they got popular. They bring on a bunch of cool black artists, rappers, shows, urban type shows, and then when it got popular, they toss them and go to a new demographic of people. That's what I'm saying. At some point, all these people have to perform real businesses and get a new demographic of people. Not necessarily completely new, but a demographic of people to bolster their numbers. And there's 408 people here. Y'all can definitely hit the like button. And you can definitely super chat the channel, support the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. We do. We pay with our privacy rights. People are like, oh, it's free. It's not free. You're giving away your data for free. You're giving away money. That's kind of what people see it. Yep. Exactly. They've been studying you. Oh, listen, I'm not gonna say nothing about Dr. Boyce Watkins there on that. I mean, at the end of the day, like you spent $500,000, it's spent. You know, there's nothing you can do. It's spent. But if you're gonna spend $500,000, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't spend it on Facebook. I know there's people that right now, no, because Facebook's the best. I wouldn't. I would spend it on YouTube. I'd spend it on YouTube, and I'd spend it on Google Ads, Google AdWords. That's it. I mean, that's just. And then, honestly, if I had 12 to 20 grand, I'd spend it on an infomercial at night, TV. Data is like oil. Many don't understand. They don't understand. If you're using a free product and you can't find the product, then the product is you. This is correct. Hey, good men, welcome to the cast. That's the whole thing. What was his ROI for 46 million? That's my biggest thing. It's like, whoo. Oh, for sure. Like, let's keep it a buck. Facebook and Google have been censoring for 10 years now. For sure. Like, I can go on my friends' Facebook and it's all, farmhouse, modern farmhouse chic. It's all like white girls and this and that. And I go on any of my black friends and it's like police shootings. The marketing to you is so ridiculously different. And I will show them my Facebook all the time, be like, and this is why you've got to stop liking certain things on the algorithm so it kind of turns it off. People already got their stimulus checks. Some people have already got their stimmy checks, as they call them, stimmy checks. If you're PPP, word on the street is Monday is people who first time applying, and Wednesday is for second round appliers. So trust me, people are already lined up, ready to go. If you will, he won't be on Spotify. Start an advertising firm. I mean, there's a lot of things, but you have to understand at 74 years old, what are you used to? You're used to using the newspaper because Trump's bought stuff when it was against the New York 5, or what do you call it? The park. What is the city park in New York? If somebody can correct me. I know there's New Yorkers in here because you guys are in Lawbridge demographic. The Central Park 5, I think that's what it was. He put that newspaper article out. So again, you're talking about a 74-year-old man who's used to having access to radio and interviews on Fox News and all this stuff. Does he want to go Bernie Sanders, Ron Paul, Grassroots ever? Maybe, maybe not. Again, yes, Twitter is a private company. We've said this 20 times. They can ban anybody they want. And this is funny when people do this because what they do is when something's going what they think is in their favor and they completely miss the bigger ideal here. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. You're hot. Again, when they came for Farrakhan, when they came for Alex Jones, so what? I don't care. He's crazy. When they came for Farrakhan, hey, wait a minute. When they started coming for other people, hey, wait a minute. They will come for you. Nothing's more deadly than an ideal whose time has come. You can't stop it. V for Vendetta, y'all. Go look that movie up. Listen, I can't say it out loud, but you know. It is. Boy, it is very true. He did. Kevin Trudeau did scam a bit. Now I'm gonna be careful with the scam. I'm gonna say he put stuff in a book that you're like, no, people ain't losing weight doing that. But what difference is it in all these other vegan fitness people telling you, yeah, just drink maple water? Not true. Oh, Roscoe. Before that, again, people ride any train that's popular. You see what I'm saying, AJ? Okay, exactly. Same people that are talking about banning people from a platform are the people who ban others from a platform themselves. This is true. You are. You're going to communication skills and your in-person skills are going to have to be tested. Again, when you start talking about Les Brown and a lot of these people who, I mean, even Grant Cardone, who spoke at hundreds and thousands of events, live speaking, and to the point where he was cheap, he wouldn't use a good microphone. So now his voice is raspy. If you listen to Grant Cardone's brother, voice is completely different. Even though they're twins, identical twins, voice is completely different because of how people are going out there speaking on the road. There will come a time when it will be popular. I didn't use Twitter for years until Trump come on there acting a fool. Exactly. More entertaining than Atlanta Twitter. I mean, that is what it is. There you go. Everything is so cyclical. Melody, this is very true. 1990s, you have the Zine movement, magazine movement, right? Everything hits back again. Newsletters hitting my business phone number. Yep. Old school advertising, all that stuff is old will be new. R. Jones, you can have a website. They can actually take you down. Hosting networks can take you down. This is what happened with some of the what we would call white nationals. Their websites were being taken down. But guess what? They don't stop them. I promise you it don't. People are going to use code words. They're going to keep on going about their day. That's fun. Yep, throwing weights in front of the camera. That stuff quit working 5 years ago. Well, thank you, Simp, for the 49 super chat. He said Magna forever. Thank you for supporting the channel. They're short by at least 300,000 drivers, 250 to 300,000. Right now, I can tell you right now, I was talking to somebody talking about getting foreign drivers to drive my trucks and trying to figure out how these companies were making so much money. And it's because they do get a percentage of foreign drivers in these trucks. And they're locked into 3-year contracts, and you can just do so much different type of business within that. So again, a lot of people are online trying to sell you courses, and I get it. But at some point, they're gonna have to be real businesses. It's just the truth of it. Create an infomercial. I'm telling you, that's going to be a lot of infomercials are going to come out of nowhere. You're definitely going to see that here in the future. Oh, they've been banning regular folks. So there's an article. I'll probably do a whole show on it because I think it's important. There are a couple of Black people who were speaking about, radical ideals, which was just against police brutality, against certain things. And this young man had a house, had a car, had a great job. They took him to jail, had him there for, I think, 6 months because he couldn't afford his bail. So, and I'm going to go somewhere with this. And guess what? Lost his house, lost his car, all that. By the time they released him and let him go on the charges that were BS anyway, he lost everything, right? Just like that in the community tab, I posted about the New York bill where they can hold you for up to 90 days on communicable diseases, aka the virus, for 90 days without a trial, without a police order, without any kind of rules, just sitting over here in a health camp for 90 days. And New York has that in a bill right now. Y'all, it's coming to more things. So even though people are like, well, you guys are really taking it too far, Edgar. You're just banning you of social media. That's where it starts. You guys are super crazy. They are, but their ideals are what is dangerous. Their ideals and expectations, right? Right expectations, right people. If you look at a lot of people when you talk to them from California, oh, I'm out here in Texas and it's great and I have a new life, but y'all don't have a lot of services. And then you say, what are services? Well, should have someone pick up my mom and take her to her appointments for me and do this stuff. I'm like, no. You have a car. You can't take your own mother to her doctor's appointments. You can't do all these things. These things that you're asking for services, you're literally asking to steal money from your neighbor out of their pocket to take your mother to the store. That's what you're asking for. If you want that, go back to California. And so I remember the guy just looking with his mouth open like, and I'm like, don't come here, drive Uber, live in a cheaper housing and complain about Texas. Go back. Oh, no, I'm not going to go back. It was a black man. It was like a mid-40s black man. And me and Andre were like, you kidding me right now? This is true. Listen, when you saw the whole wave on Hallmark Channel, people going back to modern farmhouses and people going back to homesteading, look at the homestead channel just blowing up out of nowhere. Trust me, this ideal isn't new. This is just economically, these people are going back towards this. Gosh, I have a lot in here. It's going to get a lot of attention, but we'll see. I'm not going to lie to you. Thank you for 299 super chat. Twitter's going to Twitter. Right now, the stock market is over pumped with a lot of stuff, but I'm going to get out of here. Clubhouse is popular, but they in there talking reckless. Let's just be very clear. They don't own that space. They just want to talk to people. And to me, you're completely ruining your business. If you're a very busy, running a businesswoman, but you a man and you on Clubhouse for 3 to 5 hours, I mean, I just don't. Yeah, I ain't got time like that. I mean, I respect you, but you're completely taking away the mystification of Clubhouse and being some massive business owner. You just are. Thank you, John Gullery, for the $5 super chat. Thanks, Eric, for always dropping knowledge and great book recommendations. Yeah, I'm always trying to give y'all some good stuff. Roscoe, and that right there is the stuff that I don't understand. I would have not spent $500,000, and you know why they spent $500,000 on Facebook ads is because they assumed that's where black people were hanging out at. That's my thoughts. They were making a marketing decision that is dangerous because you could have just been over here. You could have spent for $500,000. You could have been the Ty Lopez of YouTube. Just facts on facts. Oh, look at that book, Age of Surveillance Capitalism. Look at you dropping a good book. We'll check that out. You know, my Audible is always asking for new stuff. Let's see. Surveillance. I'm trying to write it down. Hey, listen. You know, Tyler, I'm not going to say nothing on that. I don't want none of that drama. None of that. Thank you. Central Park 5. Thank you, guys. I did it. Hey, it is what it is. See, I mean, and stuff like that. That stuff is going to come out more and more. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, the Netflix Social Dilemma. People have been talking about watching that. And at the end of the day, like, people are going to have to come outside. It's just what it is. Tyler Bennett, I would strongly suggest you take that over there. You take that to them. I don't have nothing to say about that. You know, Trace, if you're really concerned about corruption, you can go back and look at Hunter Biden, who's getting $30 million, who's a former crackhead. Why is he getting $30 million from other countries? I mean, this is the stuff this is where people are so blinded. They just can't take a deep breath. They're like, it's corruption, Erica. But then if you go back every president, from Bill Clinton to whoever, and you point out people in their office who have corruption actually legally going on to this day, you know, look at Chicago. You have multiple Democratic officials in jail in Chicago. Kwame Kilpatrick, Detroit, in jail. Corruption is heavy in politics, period. And that's where you have people who are like so deeply entrenched. Like, I was going to do a whole show talking about Loeffner out of Georgia. And I'm like, y'all hate self-made people. This girl leveraged her own family farm to go to school so she could go to school and be armed in proximity beside rich and wealthy other kids. Went out, became a businesswoman, made money, made lots of money, married a man 15 years older than her who had more money, and they own they own a basketball team, and people hate self-made people. They just hate it. They can't stand it because it takes a lot to build something that your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, and your children may enjoy more than you, and people don't like that. That's all. So Trace, thanks for your comment. Nerd, this is true. People don't really understand what censorship is. And again, I'll tell you, YouTube's done this to other people, and they've survived. Again, Ray Higdon, when I talked about him, is he had a fast growing, and Ben X2, they both got kicked off. And guess what? They just went and called up all their audience and did about 500 interviews. And so if you Google their name, you're going to find lots of videos on them, even though they can't use their own platform. Yeah, listen, Tesla gonna do what Tesla gonna do. But I can tell you, I'm going to do a video and drive by the Tesla facility I drove by the other day. It was huge. Roscoe, I'm not going to read that. I don't want that drama. Oh, yeah. Toastmasters. You're going to have to do Toastmasters. You're going to do a lot of stuff. Old system versus the new system, for sure. There's just a lot. Corruption's everywhere. Exactly. I mean, again, lots of people. To this day, if you look at New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, every man, woman, and child was allotted $250,000. Where is those people money? To this day, people didn't get their money. And it was allotted. It was put in Congress. It was put down there. So where are the people at? So again, you know, that's the thing about Clubhouse. It wears me out. I'm like, y'all, stop it. No, not escorts. Stop it. Oh, listen. Engineered appliance repair. I sent out postcards for a 5-star review and you'll get an Amazon gift card. Yeah, you could do stuff like that. Thank you for the $5 from chat. Anyway, all right, you guys, listen. I gotta run. Good information here. You guys are cracking me up. There's so many things I could talk about, but again, you can't counsel someone who has a following, no matter all these tricks and things that are going on. And Erica, all these people are just using these websites. Yeah, you're gonna have to start building real businesses, and that's just the truth of it. A lot of people are gonna have to start building a real business, and we'll be bringing on some great interviews next week and the week after. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for super chatting. Thank you for supporting the channel.